Hi all, Kithmal sir will log in soon. Okay, so there's a one of the technical issue. I just call for him and he just confirm he's about to log in. Okay, thank you. Sir, can you hear us? Sir, we can't hear you. Kidmal, sir, I think your mic has some kind of problem. Could you please check?
Give me a. So we'll start it. Can you see the screen?
Yes, you can share this screen, sir.
Hello.
Still, we can't see Mr. Kithmal.
You can't see, no?
Yeah, we can't see.
Now?
No, sir.
What about now?
Now, okay, sir.
Sorry for the delay. So today we are discussing about the preparation of the bill of quantity. So basically, we are calling BOQs, very common in the construction industry. Projects, the estimations, that means what is the cost for that particular project, will calculate through the bill of quantities by preparing the bill of quantities, and also cost estimation for the construction projects. So this is the we can't go through the presentation because of that. My laptop is not working. We'll go through this PDF. So the overview that what is the BOQ, we'll come to the what is the BOQ. BOQ is an estimation, an essential part of the construction planning. For example, to calculate the project cost. Normally, as earlier I said, there are several thumb rules, methodologies we are using to calculate the budgeted cost before implementing, before you planning the project. But when the execution phase is started, before execution, you have to calculate the probable cost. What is the probable cost for the particular project? For that instance, you have to you need to prepare the bill of quantities. So to identify the project cost. So that is more the basically that it will ensure the transparency of the budgeting. There can be several unforeseen events, but uh, the the BOQ will give you a baseline for the project. So that means you will know what will be the project cost, not only the project, but activity wise also you can get the project cost. So that is a one part of this the BOQ, and also it streamline the bidding and contractor client communication. Whatever client he need to he wants to know what is his cost for the project, construction cost for the project. there will be other costs, but basically for the project construction cost will be illustrated through the bill of quantities. So that's what, and also it will help for the clients to negotiate with different stakeholders to achieve good quality product with reasonable budget. So what is the BOQ? So the BOQ is a detailed document listing quantities and cost and material and labor required for the construction project. So for example, I will try to show you the example sample of the BOQ. So this is as I say here, that the detail that quantity in the BOQ illustrated what is the quantities. For example, if we take the foundations for the excavation, how many quantities you have to do this, and also sometime in the BOQ it will give the specifications. Some specifications are not in the drawings, but for the pricing purpose, you can include this in the BOQ. For example, so the excavation, we'll take the excavation. So excavation normally, say you have to excavate 5 feet. But in the drawings or specification, you have to directly excavate up to the 5 feet. But sometime for the ground topology, that some excavation depth can be varied. But in the BOQ, you can give a different levels. For example, ground level, existing level to 2 feet, 2 feet from to 5 feet. Likewise, you can specify the activity. Then also that you can give the specification. For example, normally in the drawing, it's shown as a filling. So, but in the BOQ, you can mention through the notes or through the item description, you can mention the filling from excavated soil. So you can show that you can mention describe as a imported soil. Likewise, in the BOQ also you are giving some extended specifications, but the purpose is not to give the specification. Main objective is to give a accurate estimation and financial tracking. So it will help you to give a quotation to the relevant relevant client. So that will be a baseline. So if the client prepare the bill of quantity, that is especially quantities, you can get the rates from relevant contractors, and you can compare. You can analyze the costing for each unit, and also you can get a detailed analyze methodology, especially for the different elements. For example, groundworks, structural works, finishing works, MEP work, different part you can compare. So as I said, the main purpose of this the preparation of the bill of quantities is facilitate the accurate cost estimation and financial tracking. So as I said, the project also moving. So you are always check the actual cost and the budgeted cost, especially client side. By using the BOQ, You are measuring against the BOQ because that is your baseline. And also, I think this is not. Wait. So facilitate accurate cost estimation and financial tracking. Contractor is preparing precise bids. The purpose, that's as I said, different contractors give a quotation based on the prepared BOQ. And also, as I said, assists in the project management and procurement. For example, can anyone tell how it assists the project management? Or tell me how you are doing the procurement subject now. Tell how the BOQ is assist the procurement.
In procurement, sir, BOQ is made for evaluation of the financial proposal.
Yeah. No. How you get use the BOQ? So you have a BOQ. How you use it as a procurement guideline? How you use it for the procurement purpose? Can anyone tell? I can remember one QS is joining this course, no?
Sir, BOQ is a part of tender document.
Yeah, I am asking how you use it for the procurement works. Can anyone have idea?
We used to give the BOQs to bidders to obtain their prices. So we will get their prices through BOQ.
Yes, that is the normal way. Most of the construct procedures in the measure and pay contract, there is a normal way. I'm asking, you have a BOQ. You have to, as I explained in the previous lectures, you have to procure different activity items. For example, tile. Okay. In the BOQ is a guideline to purchase the material, procure the material, procure the service. For example, you have a 100 meter excavation. So meter cubes. So that you have to you can tell your subcontractors. Also, you have a you can tell to the subcontractors. So this amount of work you have. So you can procure that. You can select. So you have a big quantity of excavation. You are not going to do with a small contractor. That will the guideline through the BOQ. And also you are going to purchase the, you are deciding for the special big apartment projects. Yeah, you will do the, you are the, as a project manager, you are getting the, you have to get the decision whether we are going to local purchase the tile or we're going to import the tiles. So that will be the guideline from the through the BOQ. So as I said, it assists the project management and procurement. The structure of the BOQ items like quantities, unit and unit price. So I will show you a BOQ. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
You can see the screen, no? You can see the BOQ, no? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Let me share it.
So as I said that this BOQ has different, for example, preliminaries. Preliminaries is basically supporting works which required for the construction work. Okay. So preliminaries normally for the construction project, you need the office. And also some projects you need to control the sounds, dust controlling, safety requirements. Most of the indirect requirement of the construction project, but it's cost for the, it will incur cost for the contractor. You will list down in the under the preliminaries most of the things. Okay, those are yeah, in the BOQ we give the preliminaries items. Sometimes it's a unit rate, some are lump sum rate. As I said in the so I'll get the another example in the concrete. So this is a the price BOQ. You can see some specifications we are mentioned mentioned in the BOQ. For example, the here. So the quantity of concrete should be confirmed to the relevant BS and SL and SIDA specification. So you have to rate by based on the SIDA specifications. So if mentioned grade 20, the SIDA and also your concrete, your site mixing. So in the SIDA guidelines or specification mentioned. Likewise, some specification you can include in the BOQ. But as I said in the earlier, if you compare with drawings and the BOQ, the superior one is, what is that? Drawings, not the BOQ. So always BOQ come under the drawings and specification. Huh? So you have to remember that. So this is the normal format of the BOQ. It's a unit there, quantity there, weight and amount. Okay. So you can see this is not the SI units, but for example, for the concrete. So concrete, so you have a volume cube 1.75. That is the volume you have, and also, and you have to have a unit rate, and also that will come the what is the cost for the columns. Likewise, this is the normal format of the BOQ for the building project. Similarly, masonry. So masonry, you have what is the block size, thickness, what is the mixing ratio. That also mentioned in the BOQ, but the main is the unit quantity, rate, and the amount is the main component of the BOQ. So these are the benefits of the BOQ in a construction. So most of the project managers are monitoring the project cost during the project construction time. So normally project cycle, because maintenance time also you have to monitor the cost, because sometimes project is handed completion after the defect liability period. And also it will help to dispute the minimization. It will help to reduce the dispute. So reduce the misunderstanding between the client and contractor. Because as I say, in the tiles, we get the very common thing. So client mentioned he need a tile size 600 by 600. So once if the construction is going on, if the client requests, I need the 900 by 900, there will be a dispute. So then, if you go without the BOQ, they say you give the tiles, but the BOQ clearly mentioned it's a 600 by 600. Sometimes you have to mention the prime cost as well. So, for example, for the tiling, you have to mention in the BOQ, this is the prime cost. What is the prime cost mean? That what is the base price for the tile square feet? For the, you have to mention you want to use 600 by 600 tiles, and the square feet or square meter price will be this much. That based on that, contractor has to cost it. Okay. So then it will be minimize the conflict between the contractor and the client, and also it will help to accurate budgeting, improve the budgeting accuracy of successful. It's depend on the how far you are prepare the BOQ. Because some BOQs have so many errors. So you need the proper qualified professional quantity survey to do the BOQ. Sometimes some people are preparing the BOQ have a lot of mistakes. So if you have a mistake, quantity longs, or sometimes the contractor is preparing the rates are wrong way, likewise, then it will be a problem for the project. So the component of the BOQ. So as I say, description of the work, detailed description of the each work items. As I show you, so under the before you have a different item, you have a description of the description of works. That, as I said, you have to use a 200 millimeter blocks. So sometimes you have to use the 200 millimeter bricks. Likewise, you have to have a description of the work. That is the most important, and also that what kind of mixture, mortar mixture, so tile. Sometimes you have to lay in the tile with tile mortar. So sometimes you have to lay with the tile adhesive. So proper description is required to understand the contractor or bidder to bid that one. So description of work is the most important part of the activity. Then the quantity, the total quantity of the materials or labor. But sometimes now most of the BOQ have a directly quantity mean including material and the labor. For example, concrete meter cubes, 25 meter cubes. So that means you have to include the, so quantity is including with the material and the labor. Unit of measurements. So that is a standard method of measurement. As I said, cubic meters, square meters, kilogram, tonnage, tons, like that, feet, meter, like right. Standard unit of measurements is much important. How you measure it. Then the rate, the price per unit of work or material. Final column is the cost. Cost will come quantity and the rate. So this is the basic steps of to prepare a BOQ. So as a procurement postgraduate students, sometimes you have to procure some services for the construction, to do some construction, or take even not the interior things as well. You have to have a proper BOQ to get the cost estimation. So so to prepare the BOQ, you have to have a good knowledge of the studying the drawings and the specification. Because without proper knowledge of the drawings and the specification, you cannot prepare the BOQ. As I said, always drawings and specification much superior than the BOQ. For example, if you are in the drawing, say the grade 25 concrete, and if you prepare the BOQ, grade 20 concrete, so that means you are not able to read the drawings and prepare the BOQ. So the first thing is you have to study the drawings and the specification. Sometimes specification mentioned in the drawing. Some big projects, you will get the separate specifications. And also sometimes they will refer the standard documents. For example, SIDA SCA 1, say 3, no? That is for the specification for the buildings, and sometimes specification for the roads. So they are referring that one. So then you have to, as a quantity surveyor, not only quantity surveyor, if you are preparing the BOQ, you have to refer that one. And also, after you identify the drawings and specification and the work scope, you have to divide the work into measurable items. What is the measurable mean? For example, you have to do this concrete slab. Sometimes in the very small scale project, you can say the slab concrete as per the drawing, this kind of square meters, 10 square meters. This kind of BOQ you can prepare, but in the detail, you have to if you can divide it in much micro level, it's better. So you have to divide into the measurable items. So normally in the construction, especially in the concrete elements, you are divided into the concrete separately, because concrete separately you can measure, reinforcement differently we can measure, and also formwork separately can measure. So under the concrete, you have these 3 items. Then after you divide it, not only the concrete, you have all the finishing details, all the electrical details, and as I said, the preliminary requirements. Then you need to quantify the items. How many volumes you have, how many quantity, how many meter cubes you have, how many area you offer this painting you have. Likewise, you have to quantify the item and also conduct a rate analysis. So that is the most important, rate analysis. You have when you are doing the calculate the rate, you need the rate analysis. How you prepare the rate analysis? That is using the, normally for the buildings, you have a BSR. For the road work, you have HSR. So you have to itemize how many labors involved, how many machineries. So you need the breakdown. I will upload the sample breakdown because now in this moment my computer is having some problem. I prepared you to show that one, but unfortunately I cannot show it to now. So you have to have a proper breakdowns for each item, and also finally you have to comply the BOQ document. So the projects step, as I said, the detailed discussion. So review of the drawings, especially architectural, structural, and MEP. There can be a contradictions So you have to sort out among the consultant if you have any contradiction. Ensure thoroughly understand the scope. That is the most important. As a, when you are preparing, you have to have a, what is the scope, what is the scope you have to do. Similarly, you can, as a procurement manager, so executive, so the BOQs you can prepare the cupboards. So you need to purchase furniture, something like that. That also you can prepare in the BOQ manner. How many cupboards? So the description you can mention the size, the volume, like that. So based on the requirement. Sometimes some requirements are not in the drawings or specification. Then you have to go for the relevant parties and have a detailed discussion and minute it in somewhere and come back and put it into the BUQ. Keep remember anything without in the drawing or specification. Better to call a meeting among the required stakeholders and do the proper minuting and come back to the BOQ and put it as a in the BOQ. Always you have to have evidence how you get it, the description or whatever details. You need the guidelines. You have to have a proper evidence. And the important thing is the identify the project requirements and technical specification. As I say, divide into measurable items. Break down the work into main categories. Example, earthwork, concrete, MEP, finishes. So this is a macro level thing. So micro level thing, you can go for the concrete into the formwork, reinforcement, concrete, lintel, screed concrete. Likewise, you can divide it in the micro levels. It will help for you to prepare the project program as well. That is another advantage if you have a proper detailed BOQ. Sub items, as I said, the category is divided in specific tasks or items: concrete for foundation, masonry walls, etc. This will the purpose of this is allow detailed cost tracking and clear definition of the scope, and also it's help to get a reasonable cost for you if you have a detailed item. Otherwise, if you have a concrete in the different, generally say concrete 100-meter cubes, sometimes column concrete can be high rate. Okay, column may be high rate. Slab may be reasonable because slab you have a high volume. So the labor component for the volume is very less. But if you go for the only do the column concrete 5-meter cubes, you need a lot of labors. So likewise, so it will the detailed BOQ give you a reasonable price for client. The step 3 is the quantification of work. So takeoff quantities is the most important thing. So you have to have a takeoff sheets you have to prepare. How many items you have, length, width, depth. Likewise, you have to have a prepare the measurement sheet to calculate that one. I'm not going in detail because this is not a detailed preparation of the BOQ. I will just give the idea, and also that you have to use the drawings to calculate the quantities based on the measurements and the dimensions, measure the record in the dimension based on the project drawings. Measurement units may be in the SI units, so most of the cases we are using now. So basically square meters, cubic meters, etc. But and also linear feet, meters, area square meters, likewise square feet, and accuracy normally ensure precision is costing by measuring actual project needs, because you know some of you are working in the government sector. If the quantities exceed 10%, you have to go for the higher approval. And also the project cost exceed 10%, then the problem, because you have a limited budget. You have to go to the, sometimes you have to go to the government project cabinet to get the approval for the price, cost, the budget, actual cost exceed. Okay. Then the rate analysis. So normally, as I said, the basic component is the material cost. So you have to calculate what is the material cost based on the unit price. Then the labor cost involvement, sometime hourly, daily. So for example, half a day, you need a skill labor. Then likewise, you have to calculate, break down, when you prepare the rate, you have to have a detailed breakdown, and also equipment cost. What are the machineries include? Sometimes you have to rent, sometimes you have to purchase, like that. Finally, after calculating the basic cost, you have to have include the additional, not the additional, that is your overhead and profit margin. So if the company managing director decide to go this project by 10% profit margin, 10% plus overhead. Sometimes they will give the overhead and profit both together. Say go with the 25% profit and overhead margin. So then the final thing, the compiling the BOQ. Now most of the BOQs are circulated with the hard copies plus the soft copy Excel sheets. So normally it's very easy. So all the pages or sheets are linked. So it's very easy to compile. The structure is a list item order with the description, quantities, unit, and total cost. Final BOQ document include the summary page. And also, as I said, first you come the preliminary, then excavation, concrete. There's a standard form methodology to compiling the BOQ document. So then after you prepare the BOQ, in the BOQ, some of the cases that you have to give the engineering estimate. Normally we call for the government project, what is the budgeted cost? So go for the BOQ. For example, in the SIDA, we have different level contractors. Based on the engineering estimate, you have to go for the different grading rated contractors for the BD. So that time you need the budgeted BOQ to determine the engineering estimate, and also that normally we are floating among our BOQs without the rate. So that will we can get the competitive bidding through the proper by preparing proper BOQ. So estimation in the construction. So estimation process of the calculating the cost, time and resource required for the construction project. There are different type of estimation. So basically, as I said, preliminary estimate. That means early stage cost prediction based on the rough assumptions. For example, so you are doing the apartment building. Okay, so you are doing the apartment building. You can tell what is the so normally, so no, in our life, if we go for the developer, they are asking what is the construction cost for the apartment. And we are saying normally, if you are going for the semi-luxury, 15,000 rupees for the square feet. Likewise. So very preliminary, no detail. So likewise, you have to have a early, before you are going to enter in the project, telling like that. Then you come for the detailed estimate. Precise cost breakdown based on the actual quantities and the rates. So you have to have a proper drawings, details to calculate the detailed estimate. Order of magnitude estimate, the rough estimate for budget approval. This is, as I said, for example, recently I involved to do the Colombo and Matale hockey turf. For the get the cabinet approval, we have done the rough estimate. We got the detail from earlier projects. What is the cost for do that? What are the added no omission works? We had some money on that and we get the cabinet approval. And also unit rate estimate. Cost calculate for the unit of work. Example per square meter. In the BOQ also, you have some item rate only activities. You are not intend to do, but if you want to do it, you have a unit rate. For example, you are planning to do the tile skirting, but tile skirting measurements are you have, but some area you may be changed to the timber skirting. So you get the unit rate for that. What is the if I change this to timber, what is the rate? Likewise, for unit rate or rate estimation also one of the estimate. For example, if you are doing the villa project, that is a detailed one that I said the skirting thing. But if you are saying you are doing the housing project, so normally say for the one villa, one housing, 1,000 square feet, this amount. So the method of estimation. So unit rate methods. So this is a estimation based on known rates for materials and labor. So normally unit rate method we use to we are using we are based on the well-known rates from the materials and the labor. We know what is the skilled labor, what is the unskilled labor, and also material costs, what is the price for the sand cube. Like, and the quantity takeoff, measurement of quantities from plans or drawings and multiplied by unit rates. So you have to get the quantities from the drawings, how many meter cubes, how many square meters, and multiplied by the unit rate. And the percentage measure. What is the percentage method? The estimating cost as a percentage of overall project cost. Normally, this is a very decision-making level. We are doing the percentage cost method. For example, for the project, normally we have a thumb rules for the structural cost for the mid-rise building. 27% of the project cost. MAP around 20-25. Preliminary cost 7%, 10%. Likewise, percentage method you can make. And the abstract estimation, summarizing cost based on the abstract data or benchmark. So that is mean you can set up the benchmark. So for example, you have to do the for example, sculptures. You have a benchmark, this site of sculpture. So likewise, benchmark you have to set up. Step for project cost estimate. Gather the project data. You have only you have to have a drawing specifications, site conditions, sometimes the soil reports, because if you are doing the piling costing, you need to identify what is the depth of the pile. So likewise, you need to gather the project data. Perform the quantity takeoff, measurement of work items. Calculate the unit cost, labor, material, including these things, you have to calculate the unit cost. Then after, depend on the companies, you have to apply the overhead and profit margin. For the now, as I said earlier, you have a BSR or HSR, so the detailed breakdowns with you. So then you have to only apply the unit rates for that. For example, if the 5 laborers are going for the brickwork, 10 square meter, you have that breakdown in the BSR. And sometimes percentage you have to increase flow by flow with difficulty of the work. So then they apply the overhead. Overhead including what is the overhead? Normally, overhead include the indirect cost to perform that activity. Sometimes you need the head office help, but everything is the cost money. So you have to give up some portion for the head office, because your staff engineers are working in the site, but their salaries are prepared through the head office. Then your head office accounts team, salary preparation team, HR team cost, we have to consider during the pricing, and also the profit margins. So we are doing the job to get the reasonable profit. So depend on your profit and the overhead margin, you will win the job as a contract. Normally, all the unit, the basic cost are same, but depend on your overhead and the profit margin, it will change the final figure. Finally, the project estimate. So, any questions from this? So, what are the challenges in the BOQ preparation and estimation? Most of the time, so the project manager or client asks project quantity survey to prepare the BOQ without completing the proper drawing set. That is the most difficult thing to prepare the BOQ. Sometimes they will give the structural drawing and tell you to do the BOQ, but sometimes it's changed again. Sometimes structural engineer give the drawings without reinforcement, and he will give the reinforcement percentage. That means 1 meter cube 40 kilograms. Likewise, we give the percentage. Then the very difficult for the quantity survey to prepare the BOQs. And the recently we faced the main problem is the material fluctuations. You can remember 2022, we had a huge issue and huge collapse in the construction industry because of the material fluctuation. If I'm not mistaken, the reinforcement cost moved from 150,000 tonnage price from 150,000 to 550,000. How you prepare the unit rate? It's very challenging if your price is fluctuation. Sometimes fluctuations allowed in the SIDA documents, but such a different drastic increase, or you cannot claim through the fluctuation equation. Sometimes most of the cases, the price during the, especially in the 2023, 2022 and 23 era, that most of the contractors voluntarily withdraw from the projects, or they cannot do. Today they agreed for some prices, but next week you can't do it. Likewise, because your diesel price increased from 120 to 400. So likewise, material fluctuation, you cannot, it's very challenging when you are doing the cost estimations. And the inaccurate audit errors in the measurement or calculation can impact the entire estimate. Most of the cases in most of the QS firms using trainees and also junior quantity service to prepare the BOQs. But it's important that senior QS to take, supervise the work, otherwise there can be errors. In this construction industry, there are so many claims. The contractors are waiting to make a claims. It's a problem if you have a errors in the measurements. And also when you are preparing the BOQ, sometimes description you are interpreting wrong way. Those are linked for the claims. And so you have to make sure give a accurate quantity. You have to get the accurate quantity for the proper BOQ. And also lack of experience. Most of the cases, inexperienced estimators may overlook key factors or miss important details. As I said, so experienced QS know well known to read the drawings and the specifications, and they have experience. They have seen the work. So some people are not. They have not gone to the sites. Sometimes the soil conditions. They don't know about the road elevations, rock type like that. So experience is most important when you are preparing the BOQ. So then you can put all the required considerations to prepare the BOQ. So final review is just it's most important to double check the quantities and unit rates. So don't depend on the QS, but ad hoc way you have to check the. It's not practically you have to check and recalculate all the quantities, but you have to have at least the cross-check some quantities and unit rates, and update the BOQ based on the any changes in the project. So as I said, drawings are always changing. Client also always changing this project scope. No, that time you have to have a update the BOQ. And also you have to get the stakeholder approval for the project cost and BOQ. So as I say, sometimes some details are not there, but you have to include that detail, because otherwise you can't, contractor cannot form. But you have to mention this is not in the BOQ, but you have to get the approval from the client or project manager. I am doing this one, assuming this one. When you are doing any assumption, you have to get that. Not in the drawings or anything, you have to get the approval. So the conclusion, preparation of the BOQ is crucial for estimating cost and construction project. So accurate estimation ensure the better project management, control and bidding. So you have to understand why this BOQ, we are doing the BOQ for the project. What is the importance of this? How it's prepared? What are the advantages? How it can be errors? Likewise, some questions may be aligned with that. The process involves careful analysis, measurements and application of rate. So your knowledge So you have to have what kind of in, things we have to do when you are preparing the BOQ. What are the important factors? What are the important documents? And also what are the software tools and techniques are available to simplify the estimation and BOQ preparation. Nowadays, a lot of people are preparing using the software. In softwares, you can easily get the BOQ quantities and some for the measurement works. Some most of the international companies nowadays Sri Lankan companies, they are doing the cost X and also beam model and also blue beam use for the easy reference for the calculate the PDF quantities using the PDF documents. So the softwares and tools you have to learn when you're doing so much easier now, not like the earlier days. So you can use the software to prepare the BOQs. These are the reference I use for the preparation of this presentation. I will share these two presentations with the course coordinator. You can get it tomorrow, so you can go with that. Okay, so we'll have a small break and start our last lecture. Okay. So we'll come back another now 10, 6, 23, 6:35. We will start. Okay. So we'll start 6:35.
Okay, sir.
We will start. Bidding in construction projects. So that's the last stage, how the bidding is doing by the contractors. So is the process where the project owners solicits proposal from the potential contractors, inviting them to submit a detailed price. Normally, so as I said, the tender process we are talking, this is and plan outline how they could complete the project, allowing the owner to compare the options and selecting the most suitable contractor based on their proposed terms and cost. Normally, terms are terms and conditions. So we are signing the agreement for the contractors. Contractors, no, normally the normal condition and contractor term and conditions we will give to the bidding document. So that and that is that will fill by the contractor and give the cost proposal offer to the client. So he will give the offer with the conditions and the contracts, because normally condition and contracts, conditions and the contract terms stipulated by the client and give them to the contractor. So he will fill and with the cost giving as an offer. So then the offer will be the client or developer. So he will make acceptance. So the acceptance of this contract offer, because different contractors give the different offers. Basically, conditions and the terms all are same, but the cost, number of cost, the cost of the project, the proposal cost is different, and the accepted not only the lowest one, but considering the nature of the project and all this experience of the contractors, and also that sometimes, as I say, that most of the cost clients are preparing the engineering cost. That engineering cost estimate me what is the probable cost. Sometimes they are going for the underestimate. You will not give like that, so that the most successful budget client will give the letter of acceptance. That means he accept the offer given by the contractor. So then once you give the acceptances, it will be an agreement will form the agreement. So this is a different scenario of the contract management. So what is the type of biddings we are calling open bidding? Open bidding means accessible to all qualified bidders. So all the required qualified bidders, they have to come front of them. All the bids document will open and tell the prices. These are the prices. That means again I will tell. That means you are not about the lowest one, but especially if you are less than the engineer estimate. Sometimes most of the time you are disqualified, but the lowest price with all the required specifications, submissions, you will get it. That one open bidding means the price will be exposed to the all relevant parties. Closed bidding means only limited invited or pre-qualified bidders only, but prices open time they will not inform. And the third one is a negotiate bidding, direct negotiation with the one or more contractors. For example, if you have special projects, for example, the Lotus Tower. So we will go for the experienced contractor till we need the project and we will negotiate with them. Sometimes you can have one or two contractors. For example, in the Lotus Tower, we have a tower mast. we need the digital broadcasting. We discuss with the 2-3 parties, ISB, so because we have to go for the Japan party, UK party, South African party, special the capable contractors, we discuss and negotiate. So the key steps in the process. So as most of you may know about it, especially the daily news, Dinamina, the local papers, you can see the invitation for the biddings. So you have to publish the advertisement or send the email or invitation for bid. Normally in the government project, you have to have advertisement. Then you have to give a submission of the bid document. So sometimes, especially most of the projects, you have a pre-bid meeting as well. You explain the project scope, ask the question, you are listening to the contractor's questions and likewise. Okay. Then the bid opening and evaluation. Award of contract. As I said, contract awarding and signing of agreement is a two different. Once you get the acceptable offer, you will give the letter of acceptance, means you accept that offer and there will be a formation of the agreement, but you have to sign the agreement. That's the other thing that will form the contract. So introduction to invitation to bid. So that invitation to bid is a formal request to project owner to potential contractors to submit the competitive bid for the construction project. It set the foundation and transparent efficient bidding process, and you have sometime you have to mention the price as well. Okay, so what is the project cost will be like that. Purpose of the invitation of bid, so invite qualified contractor to participate in the bidding process. More transparency. Everyone know in the government sector you are doing the contract. You are floating the tender. So that's detail is going to provide a clear project requirement and the expectation. And also to ensure competitive and fair selection of the contractors. All the interested party can come. Depending on the price, you can make a different criteria to evaluate, cut down the some contractors, but more transparent method. So what are the key components of the invitation of the bid? Project description. Overview the construction project. What is the things you have to do? That has to be project description. You have to give in the bid, invitation to bid. The bid submission requirements, detail of required documents and the deadlines. So sometimes you have to give a let's say C4 contractors and above. So that has to be mentioned in the bid invitation. And also evaluation criteria based on selecting the winning bid. Normally, most of the open bids, you are going to publish the bid invitation in the public, in the papers, and also contact information, who point of contact for the inquiries. Sometimes you have to give mention the pre-bid meeting date and time as well. And also schedule for the bid submission, opening and award. Steps in the preparing invitation to bid, define the scope and specification of the project. So you have to tell how many stories, what is this apartment, office building. Likewise, you have to give the scope and the specifications and set the budget and timeline for the project. So duration also you have to tell. So if you are going to do the Olympic Stadium, So you have you have a time for the Olympic for the 2 years. You have to mention. So I want to do this within the 20 months. So you have 2 years to do the host the Olympic. You have to give the 20 months because you have to pre-commission in all the things now. So you have to give the timeline, budget. So what is this is will be the cost, and also develop a detailed bidding instruction and the criteria. Review and approve the IDB documentations. So that means you have to review and approve that before publishing. Publish the final step is the finally publish the IT potential bidders. So these are the best practice. These are not the standard, but normally we are using in the industry. Ensure clarity and detail in the project requirements, and also maintain transparency throughout the bidding process. Use standardized formats for the ITB documents. So respond promptly bidder inquiries because they will ask the questions. What are the bond you need? Likewise, they are asking. And also conducting the pre-bid meeting for the better understand. And also you have to circulate the all other bidders inquiries. That is another thing. In the pre-bid meeting, not the before the tendering, you have to circulate the inquiries as well. So the challenges in the ITB management ensure the comprehensive and accurate documentation. And also the managing the questions, as I said, a lot of questions will come on the contractors. So you have to manage it. And also maintain the impartiality during the bid evaluation process. Adhering to tight deadlines with submission and awards. Sometimes you have to evaluate within 14 days. If you have a, for example, in the COVID period, you have to want to do the project. So you have to immediately evaluate things. So you have to purchase some material, medicine. So you have to evaluate immediately. So you have to meet the deadlines. Dealing with the bidders' non-compliance, if they have any non-compliance, if they have performance bond bid document, their documentation, registrations are not correct. So you have to deal with them. So instruction for the introduction for the instruction for the bidders. So in the bidding, you have to give the instruction to the bidders, outline the rules, requirements, and the procedures of submitting the bid in a construction project. It ensures that all bidders have a clear understanding of the expectation of the client and the project management team, what they are expecting. And also it's fair ground for the all parties. Okay, so instruction all are same for the all. So purpose of the instruction to the bidders, providing detailed guideline for bid preparation and submission. For example, the instructions are given, you have to give a qualified people's series. So the project evaluation criteria, not the price only. Your experience, your staff, your turnover. So therefore, the detailed guideline for bid preparation and submission, you have to provide. That is the way, because the instruction, that is the purpose of the instruction to the bidders. Outline the project specific requirements and the criteria, and also ensure transparency and consistency in the evaluation process. Minimize the abuse and potential disputes. As you know that someone, if they have a challenging, some contractors are challenging. They have not awarded. They are getting court orders. You have a fair ground to defend it. So these are the key components of the instruction to the bidders. Especially, you have to give the eligibility criteria of the contractors. Their qualification required to participate. As I say, so you know SIDA, you have a C1, C2, C3, C4, up to C8. So this kind of eligibility, so if you have a piling construction, you have to say, so you need a specialization of the piling. So, and also bid submission process. What is the format you are expecting? Soft copy, hard copy, deadlines, and submission address. You know, sometimes you have to give a deadline, date and time. If someone is coming after that time, you are not accepting. Most of the incidents like that, so many cases. And also that you have to clearly mention which location you have to give it. For example, Sport Ministry conducting a tender and telling them you have to, the submission address may be in the head office, but the project is in the Polonna or Batiklo. But if you are mentioned, you have to submit your bidding document to the correct the head office of the Minister of Sports. You have to come and submit in the redebit, not for the Polonna. Also, bid security requires a big guarantee or deposit. So, bid security is one of the key document you need during the tender. Anyone know what is the bid document? Bid bond. Anyone know about the bid bond? Hello, students. Do you know about the bid document? Sorry, bid bond or bid security. Why we take that one? Are you in the class?
Yes, we taken to prevent the bidders to not accepting the MOD.
Right. Yes, good. So some contractors, they are quoting low and not accepting finally. It will waste our time. Will waste our time and our sometimes some projects are very critical. No, time is much high, very critical. So is wasting time, cost for the client. So then you need the bid security, and in the bid security you have to mention what is the security time you need. At least some project, most of projects are requesting 3 months. If you are because your body is not properly given, you are disqualified. So evaluation criteria and also project timeline, key dates and milestones. So in some projects you set the dates, milestone. This is the date for the evaluation. This is the submitting date. This is the evaluation date. This is the awarding date. Otherwise, project will delay. So in the instruction to bidders, you have to mention this one. And also how sometimes, as I say, the price proposal is not the only criteria to consider. So you have to you are capable, especially in the design and build contracts. Depend on your capability, your staff, you have to give some marking system you are introduced that has to be mentioned in the instructions. What is the percentage you are getting from the price and the qualifications? So these are the key steps in preparing instruction to bidders. Define the project scope and specific requirements. So project scope, you have to clearly mention what is the project scope, how many stories, how many kilometers, like that. You have to project scope, you have to mention clearly. Develop clear and concise bidding instructions. Include template or forms for bid submissions. So normally you have to give the normally standard document sets, SIDA, SBD2, SBD1, SBD4, FIDIC documents, you have a sample documents. And also you have as a line representative or evaluation executive, you have to review and validate all the all instruction for accuracy. So you have to validate that part. Also distribute the document with the invitation to the bid. These are the common mistakes in the instruction to the bidder. Provide a vague or incomplete instruction, omitting critical project details. For example, and tell like that instruction mean sometime in the instruction you can tell you can omit the bid bond duration. These things happen. And also setting unrealistic deadline. So that also very because sometimes you have to import machineries. But project duration is 1 month or 45 days. It's not enough for open a LC and bring down the machineries here. This was happened to us, as I said, we constructed material came we import from the Germany. So the main contractor has to support for the laying of the turf. It's a part of his scope, but the project duration is 45 days, 45 or 60 days. So, but for that time the project completion, turf manufacturing is not started, and also they request 45 to 60 days for the freight time. So then the deadlines are unrealistic. And sometimes conductor cannot, that client side project manager cannot didn't answers for the queries with reasonable time. For example, a pipeline project, they are asking whether we can purchase locally or we have to import like that. Which kind of material you are expecting? And also looking local and legal and regulatory requirements. When you are floating the tender, you didn't get the approvals. Also problem. So you are thinking you are getting the approval, you float the tender. Because of that, you can't issue the acceptance letter. So once you issue the acceptance letters, contractor need to start within the 7 days or 14 days of the construction. So therefore, it's important you get the legal and regulatory clearance. So then the best practice of effective instruction. Ensure clarity and precision in all the instruction. Include the checklist for the bid submission. That is most important. It will help for contractor bidders to know all the documents he has submitted. He is prepared for submission. And regularly update templates to reflect the industry standard. Regularly update, because sometimes fire law may be changed. If it is changed within the tender time, bidding time, you have to circulate among all the interested parties. Conduct pre-bid meetings for additional clarifications. So the contractors, they know the subject very well. So it's very important to conduct a pre-bid meeting. They will ask several questions. They are asking because they know these details are missing, these are not clear, like that. And also better to, if you can, currently we are using a lot of digital platform to submission of the tenders. It is more transparent. So what is the condition of contracts? In a construction project, refer the specific terms and stipulation outline the legal agreement between the project owner and the contractor. Normally, you are signed with the client and the contractor. Project manager or engineers facilitate only. They are not signing. Detailing the right, responsibility, and the obligation of each party involved in the project, including aspects of like scope of work, timeline, payment terms, dispute resolution, procedures, variations, legal requirements, time extensions, how the testing and completion has to be done, handing over. If you want to revoke with the contract, how you do. Everything is mentioned in the condition of contracts. It's a different subject. I only go through this, not the detail. So, contract administration part. This is involved a lot of contract administration part. So, I'm just touching the basic inclusion, the details in the project conditions. Type of construction contract: fixed price contract, cost reimbursement contract, time and material contracts for unit price contract. So these are the contract types, and fixed price mean design and build or remeasurements. They have sometimes remeasurement contracts also one time. So I am talking about the fixed price contract here. There are also known as lump sum contracts. The price, so the price is so you are not the remeasurements, but your price are fix. So the contractor and the client agreed for the fixed price for the project. So to do the drain 10 meter, this amount. The contractor also accept the high level of risk things type of contract, because contractor need to make sure all the quantities are correct. If not, it is a problem. If the client side also like that, you have to prepare accurate BOQ. Not client also in the risk. But once the client know the price, he know this is my price. This is his advantage. But the client is in the least risk category since the price the contractor agreed to fix. Once it's fixed, he know I have to pay this amount only. So therefore, contractor the client is always safe, but risk side is very low for the client, but contractor have a high risk on that. Cost reimbursement contract. Because cost reimbursement contract is used when the project scope is uncertain. We had some contract like that. I can't tell the name. One of the luxury house, he want to do the lot of molding and the sculptures like that. In this project, one of the contractor, I can tell the numbers, they say this cannot be finalized. So you also don't know the proper detail. So we want to go for the cost reimbursement, contract, because we don't know what is the actual, what will be the cost, what is the material you want, like that. So we can do whatever you are required, but it's depend on the samples and things like that. So we can't give an exact price with the bidding time. So the proposal method is calculate the direct cost, all the material, labor, transport, stores, everything, and at the 25% profit and OA. That is a very safe for the contractor. Contractor will never lose this. But as a client, you are in a very high risk. You don't know what is the price. So there is but some cases you have to go like that. So normally cost reimbursement contract, you have to, my advice is try to avoid, because it's not a, you can't give a clear budgeted cost. Also, the client is a very danger platform, because he don't know what is the project cost. So he might he will not be able to finish within his budget. Other thing is a time and material contracts for unit price contracts. So that means refer type of construction contract where the client is paid the contractor based on the actual cost of labor hours and the material use with a predetermined hourly rate. Normally we are doing this one for the day work system like that. We are doing this. That is not the contract, but the part of the contract it will be, but there are separate contracts like that. So that is allowing for the flexibility of scope and cost when the exact project details are not fully defined. The contract inceptions. Essentially, contract is a reimbursed for their actual cost incurred during the project plus a pre-set profit margin. So key conditions are in the construction contract, the scope. The scope of work defined the specific tasks deliverable expected the completed under the contracts. It should be clearly defined and agreed upon the both parties. So scope normally we are giving with the drawings and the specification. So it should be in the part of the contract. And the project timeline. So you have to define what is the project time. So that is the most important, and based on some time you have to have a stage by stage completion with the milestone. So you have to mention in the contract. And also payment terms. The term will outline the amount, the timing of the payment made the contractor. So normally in the SIDA document, it will clearly mention. Normally within the after contractor submitting the bill, within the 28 days you have to pay. That is in the contract. If you want to expedite, you have to change the condition, contract conditions, but agreed by both parties, but before the entering into the contract. So payment terms, the variation procedure. So if there's something in the changes in the variation, the contract scope or something, you have to mention that. Change management process outline how changes of the scope, timeline, and the budget, and you have to inform this. Now, that how to inform, how to get the approval, how to issue the variation order, everything in that condition of contracts. And also risk management. The risk management, the plan outline how to risk associate with the project will be identified, assessed, and mitigate. It should be regularly reviewed and updated. So how do you manage the risk? Sometimes you have in the contract, you have to manage conditions. You have mentioned you have to get the insurance. And some details you cannot publish because now some companies I know that Lotus Cover, they are publishing documents. It's not acceptable because the details are intellectual properties and the confidential details are there. The contract should include provision to protect the confidentiality and project, especially some details. Because you are paying high rates for the high capacity of people, consultant, and you are doing this one. So that is your once you pay and get it, that is your intellectual property. You can't copy these things. The other thing is the termination. Termination can be done by the contractor or the client. Both parties can make the termination, but there should be a fair grounds. So it's clearly mentioned in the SIDA documents for the constructions. So if you go for the international contracts, so FIDIC documents we are using, EPC document we are using, but commonly use the FIDIC documents. There's a termination clause, how to terminate. If you want, there should be a proper way, otherwise you can't do it your own way. So these are the parties involved in the construction contract. Main parties are client and the contractor. These are the two parties entering in the contract. So responsibility include the providing necessary approval, payments, and the project oversight. Sometimes approvals also putting into the contractor side. Payment and the project oversights are the most important part of the client side. Contractor undertakes the construction work as per the pre-contract terms within a specific timeline. Sometimes subcontractors, we have to mention specialized subcontractors hired by the main contractor. Sometimes client will nominate the subcontractors. So there is a provision in that contracts, condition of contracts for the subcontractors as well. And the consultants mean the normally the contract is monitored and implemented by the engineer to the contract. Sometimes it can be a architect, engineer, project manager, like that. But they don't have any authority to change the contract or condition of contract. They only follow the contract between the client and the contractor. More superior parties are client and contractor. Keep in mind that one. So responsibility of the parties, providing funding, clear instruction and the project approvals and also the details. Because there are so many details, sometimes client will not exposed to the contract. So that is a so if when you are coming to the contract, he has to give what are the all the details he know, and also you can't give the fake details. Contractor responsibility: complete the work according to the specification and time. Manage labor, material, and the subcontractors. Neat. Subcontractor responsibility are complete the specific tasks as per the contract. Consultant responsibility are the provided design. Actually, consultants are work for the client. So they are the supporting parties for the client. Risk calculation in the construction method. Main errors are the design errors. There can be a material and labor storage, regulatory changes, weather delays, especially tax regulations can be changed. For example, here it shows a 10% tax VAT and it increased to the 18%. Then the client is liable to pay the VAT additional portion as well. If you don't have a budget, what you going to do? Very high risk, the regulatory changes. So yeah, you should have a proper. So you have to have a backup for the changes. But sometimes so tax changes, those things you cannot. Apartment earlier you don't have a VAT. Nowadays you have a VAT. So the client also in a big problem because when you are planning to sell a 10 million house, because of the VAT, you have to go for the 11.8 million with the VAT. So his business also not financial viable because of that regulatory changes, And the risk allocation methods. Basically, always you can't eliminate the risk, but you can risk allocate to the third party. Or control load, you are paying some money for consideration to take the risk by other party. And also force major clauses outline exceptions of delays caused by the event outside the control, natural disaster. In the COVID, most of the contractor claim through the force major clause. Tsunami also like that. So other thing is the variation orders and change management. There is a specific clause for the variations, how to manage that one. Define how changes in the scope, design of cost are handled. Type of variation, additions, deletion, no substitutions. change orders, process of implementing the changes in the project scope, time or cost. For example, sometimes the people are doing the construction 10-story, they want to, by constructing, they want to increase another floor. Then you have to do the structural strengthening or do the additional micropiling, like that. The total project and the contract will change. Sometimes such a changes cannot absorb by the contract. We had an incident in one of the project because earlier project is designed for the raft foundation. But finally, once you excavating, you contract identified that there are loose layer like that, because it's not identified through the soil investigation. And the project is they go to do the pile. That case, contractor said, I am not capable to do that. So that time you have to exit from the contract. You can't do it. Or sometimes you have to agree and give it third party to do that. Exit the contract. The actual process of the variation. So require clients and contractor to agree on the cost and the schedule of adjustment. Some variation will affect your critical path. If anything affect your critical path, it will change the final deadline. No. So therefore, you have to more keen about of the changes and the approval process require client and contractor agreed on. So based on that, whatever changes you have to agree before implementing. There are payment terms and schedule payment state. Normally we are paying the advance. We call mobilization advance, progress payment, retention, and the final payment. Retention clause that normally contractor is keep the client is keep the retention percentage of the payment. It's tell that until the project is complete to satisfaction. Normally we have keep the retention 5%, and we'll release 2.5 after the completion of the project. Balance 2.5 after the defect liability period. Sometimes nowadays people are giving, contractors are giving bank guarantee for the retention and release the payment. Another thing is the milestone payments also include, because that will encourage the contractors to complete project on time. So if you complete the structure, this amount, basement complete this amount, ground floor complete this one, first floor, second floor, third floor, roof. You can make as a milestone payment for the structure and also like the finishing things. But these are very complicated, but in the normal SBD2 or SBD4, you have a minimum amount for the payment. Dispute resolution. So this is another part of the deep deep subject. So a lot of course materials and everything. So this refers to the construction law. So common dispute in the construction contract: delays, cost overruns, scope changes, defective works, not payments are not done properly, likewise deduction. Method of dispute resolution: negotiation. Always encourage negotiate with do the negotiations. Direct discussion between the parties. Always engineer will support for the both parties, but always try to negotiate with the contractor and the client and get a solution or get the mediation from the third party. Facilitator help the reach a resolution. So if you go for the arbitration, it will be a natural arbitrator make a binding decision. It's accepted by the court as well. The litigation involves court proceedings for the legal resolution. Here I didn't mention. If you want education, you also can do. You should be a profession for the education. Some contracts you can see the dispute resolution board as well. Termination of the contracts. That is another part, how to terminate. Sometimes non-performing, delays, breach of contract, insolvency, and misconduct, misrepresentation. Some details, so as I said, contract client know this. Soil is not good, but is not properly mentioned there. Consequence of termination. Compensation of work completed, penalties for the breach. So you have to pay. So if the contractor terminate, you have to give for the work done and restore the safety and also demobilization like that. If the client or employees terminate, you have to have we have to deduct from the prior cost from the contractor to redo the work and also new contractor mobilization, delay charges, etc. Force major and legal considerations allow contractor suspension or extension in the case of unforeseen events beyond the control. Example, earthquake, flood, tsunami also earlier we considered. So the legal framework, the governing law of the contract, common construction law and regulation to consider. FIDIC, JCT, SIDA, TED and SIDA same. Standing bidding document. Standard bidding document, also known as a tender document for the solicitation documents, are essential tools in the procurement process. These documents communicate the intent of the procurement entity to enter into the contract with supplier, contractor, or consultant for the provision of the goods and service of work. As I said, SIDA, SIDA is the regulatory body of the construction in Sri Lanka. They have specific standard document for the different type of contract. Minor contracts, they have a SBD1, SBD2 for the major contracts, SBD4 for the design and build. FIDIC also international document, they have a red book, yellow book, pink book. Pink book means you have to have a third party. If the bank also involved, they have a pink book likewise. White book is for the, because you are involved the consultants. The consultant contract is going with the white book. So key function of the standard bidding documents. Standard bidding documents serve several critical functions. Instruction of bidders. So these are the standard documents, guideline for the preparation of the contracts. They guide potential bidders on how to prepare the submit their bids. Invitation, the guidelines are given. Quality requirements. They describe the quality and specification of the goods served with the work required. Qualification and evaluation criteria. So what is the criteria to evaluate the contractors, bidders? Term and conditions. So they communicate the terms and conditions for the contract for the before they enter to the contract. These are, so it's clearly mentioned. So before enter the contract, you know these are the conditions and contracts I am going to have with the contracts. Sorry. And also in the most of the contract, you can find the sample of forms, so which help for the bidders to do correct formats. So these are the importance of the standardization bidding document. Ensure the transparency. Standard forms prevent confusion and manipulation in the bidding process. Promote and fair competition. Equal terms. All parties are in equal terms and all bidders ensure level of playing field. That means all have the same conditions and all it's fair for all competitors. Reduce disputes. Because your terms and conditions are very clear, reduce misunderstanding, anything you can discuss in the pre-bid meeting. Streamline the procurement process, help simplify and speed up the process. So, key components of the standard bidding document. Instruction to the bidders. I discussed this in the earlier also, that provide detail about the bidding process, submission requirements, and the evaluation criteria. Bid forms. Better you can refer the CEDA document for your reference. Go and read take the standard bidding document, especially SBD2 or SBD4. You can find the document, you can see all the formats or bid forms in that document. And also general condition of the contracts. Define the legal framework of the agreement. Once the bid is accepted, governs the relationship between the contractor and the employee. Special condition of the contract, any modification to the general condition specific in a particular project. So if you want to change it, anything, you have to clearly mention. So this clause is deleted. This clause is altered. Like that, you have to clearly mention. So factors affecting bidding success. Competitive pricing. So this is a if you have a competitive pricing, you can easily win the tender. Because sometimes most of the contractors does not they are not calculate proper cost. They are without knowing, they are trying to do their previous experience like that. But project to project always changes. So you have to go through the drawings, specification, requirement very well to do the comparative pricing. For example, recently involved for the project that is Fairface concrete project. You know that what is the Fairface? No, that is a no. You don't have a plaster or painting on that, but clear concrete. So contractor, this is contractor doesn't realize the drawings properly because there's a roof pattern, pre-con pattern, everything are in the drawing. So he priced based on the normal formwork rate by assuming by neglecting the fair fees. So he finally he won the project, but he couldn't perform. Employer terminated that another such a your bid will success, but you need to identify the proper detail and also technical expertise. As I said, the structural engineers, architect, MEP consultant, they have to come and see the complexity of the project. For example, can remember 2007, 8 or 9, we did the water tank. So that time our tender department calculate the cost based on the previous data, but in that time, but the site condition is totally different. We need the extra scaffolding in some area, like a deep slope. You need the additional supporting for the scaffolding. So likewise, you need the technical expertise, and also it's very important you have to site visit before you are pricing. Compliance with this specification, because always now, for example, some of the contract employer asks, this is I need. So you have to comply with this specification. And also financial stability. Most of the contract, your economic ratios are asked, account ratios, because it's dependent, it represent your company financial strength. Before awarding that one, they're asking what is your financial, your audit reports, those things they are asking to evaluate. And also previous experience and the reputation. So all the contract, because most of the projects are done by one, forget about the government sector, only the private sector. So most of the people are doing one or two projects, except the real estate people. Other than they are doing the office building, they are all building like that. No? So they need experienced contractor to do their house or building or the other facilities. So same thing as I said, in the Lotus Tower construction, we need the tower contractor. Tower constructor. So what we have done is we gave, so they are subcontract. They make a joint venture with another contractor to do the Lotus Tower. Because main contractor does not have a proper experience on that. Therefore, we request them to give a design partner, tower design partner, special contractor as a design and contractor. And also that civil work also we request to involve the experienced contractor on same field. These are the common challenges in the bidding. Underestimating project cost. So that is, if you are underestimating the project cost, you will sometimes you can win the project, but you are not successful in the competition. High competition. Because a lot of contractors are now in the field. So therefore, if you have an open tender, there are so many contractors will participate. It's a very rare chance to win the contract, win the tender. And we also unclear specifications. Because most of the document, so they float the tender without proper completion specific in our drawing set. Most of the detail are pending. The bidders also not going through the drawings and the details. No? They also try to complete because they are also doing one time, they are doing 2 or 3 tenders. They can't focus on one job. As I said, very high competition. So the chance of winning tender is very low. This happens for a lot of small value contracts. So less than 100 million contract, lot of competitors. So winning a tender is you have to do some most of the commonly we say you have to do the mistake to get the job. And also tight deadlines. That is the other thing. Some tenders you have to submit within a very short period. Government, you have a different set of guidelines, minimum timeline you have to give it. But most of the private projects, you have tight deadlines. If you go for the pre-bid meeting, most of the contractors are asking the extensions. And also risk of the overcommitment of the works. So best practice of the successful bidding. So the last slide of our lecture series. Conduct through the market research. You should have a good knowledge of the market about what is the prices and how it's changed, the behavior of the material prices like that, and also prepare comprehensive bid documents. And also your breakdowns should be much accurate. Someone senior quantity survey has to review it. So highlight unique value propositions. And also better to have a good relationship with the clients. So that is the way to successful for the bidding. Okay, so I think I have covered 4 lessons. Do you have any questions? Students, do you have any questions? You can wind up our lecture if you don't have any questions. If you need anything clarified, you can call me. So I will put my phone number. I think. This is my phone number. If you want, you can contact me. Ask any questions. So if you need any clarification before the exam, we can have a 1 hour chat regarding our lectures. But you have to tell me. Are you in the class?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When your exam is scheduled.
Not yet scheduled, sir.
Yeah. If you need some assistance, you can discuss with me. Arrange a class, arrange a discussion 1 hour, so we can. I will discuss with the course coordinator.
Yeah, they usually schedule a revision session, sir, for that before the exam.
Yeah. Okay, so I will discuss with the course coordinator and let you know, so we can discuss the past paper, whatever questions if you have a time. That's the most important. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.